Farm Basics time today, we want to talk about what are nematodes. They're a tremendously big problem on a lot of farms around the country.
Okay, first of all, when we look at nematodes, you may say, well, hold on, I can't even see them. Well, that's right, you can't. And you know, a lot of those things that you can't see, it's really hard to accept and say, wow, I don't know that this nematode thing is a big problem. And then you lose 10 bushels off your soybeans, or you lose 20 bushels off your corn. Nematodes are certainly out there in all soils. We're gonna see lots of nematodes. The question is, some are beneficial, some are damaging to your crop, and especially the ones that we know about, like Soybean Cyst Nematode, for example. How do we stop things that we can't even see in the soil?
All right, well, it does get a little confusing because people want to say, well, it's a bug. Well, no, nematodes really don't fall into that category. They're totally separate. So you can't just use an insecticide that would kill insects. You have to use a nematicide that kills nematodes. But unfortunately, there aren't a lot of real good nematode products out there. In corn, for example, we've got Counter that has been used for many years as an insecticide, but it's also a nematicide. So a lot of times we'll say, hey, if you have the choice between using like a Force or Aztec that we commonly use in corn versus a Counter, if you're in a heavy nematode area where you're having problems with damaging nematodes, maybe you want to switch to Counter, or at least try some side-by-side stuff to see if that actually helps your yield.
In soybeans, when you've got nematode issues, believe me, farmers across the country know, for the most part, if they have Soybean Cyst Nematode or if they don't, because there's really no question when you go from 50 bushel soybeans down to 20 and you see this whole area of a field starting to die off prematurely, farmers are going to check into what's going on. When they find Soybean Cyst Nematodes out there, the control methods really have to be done as a planting time decision as well. In this case, it's planting a nematode-resistant variety. Now, the thing is with nematodes, much like many other pests out there in nature, they will quickly adapt resistance to those different traits that you're going to find in soybeans. So with nematode-resistant beans, are they resistant to all nematodes? No, they aren't. But some of the major species that are out and the most prevalent ones out in soils, you can use nematode-resistant beans and prevent most of them from infecting your soybean plant's roots.
A lot of people ask, well, why can't we just use a nematicide in soybeans? Unfortunately, there really isn't much for nematicides in soybeans. And the other thing is some of the old products like Temic, for example, are pretty dangerous. So Temic is very restricted in where it can even be used anymore because of the danger factor. So what a lot of people are doing, if they can't make this Soybean Cyst Nematode trait work, or that's just not flying in their area, is they're looking at something else. So seed treatments are getting talked about a lot. Votivo, for example, is a bacteria that helps repel nematodes. Chloriva is a bacterial seed treatment that actually can eat nematodes. So something that feeds on the nematode, I'm pretty excited about that. I do think we'll have more traits coming down the road. I think we'll have more biological type products that can help us control some of these damaging nematodes. But for today, that's really about all we've got is Votivo and Chloriva.
Well, nematodes aren't a bug, but they are a big problem in soils. One other big challenge that we have out in fields is weeds, like our weed of the week. Can you identify this week's weed?